If you're working in banking and finance, then having a professional qualification can give you a big leg up. However, it's important to understand before you begin the journey the time commitment needed, the costs involved, as well as what advantages a qualification can give you. In this series of videos, I'm going to be answering all of those questions so candidates are aware of everything they need to know before they begin the journey. And the first video that we're going to cover is on the ACCA. The ACCA stands for Association of Chartered Certified Accountants and is a global body of finance professionals. It's the largest accountancy body in the world, and upon completion, members can call themselves Chartered Certified Accountants. To begin your journey, candidates need to have 3 GCSEs and 2 A-levels as a minimum. Work experience is needed to gain the qualification, however it's not needed at the start. You can see the barriers to entry for this qualification are pretty low, and this is one of the reasons why it's such a popular qualification for students worldwide. Let's start to look at the qualification in a little more detail. Now, in terms of exams, there are 13 closed book exams that candidates need to complete. These are split over 3 levels, with each exam having a pass mark of 50%. Now, this may sound very easy to get 50%. However, looking at the previous pass rates for each level, you can see that they get progressively harder, with less than 1 in 2 people passing at level 3. Now, depending on your qualifications or work experience, it's possible to gain up to 9 exemptions from the 13. When it comes to exemptions, there's 2 things I want to make sure everyone understands. Number 1 is you don't have to study accounting and finance to gain the exemptions. It's possible to gain the exemptions with a law degree, management degree, or even mathematics. The second point is, even if you study accounting and finance, this doesn't necessarily mean that you'll gain all 9 exemptions. Sometimes the ACCA needs certain modules to be studied at university, or even passed with a certain mark. To check what exemptions are allowed for your degree, ACCA has an exemptions calculator, which I'll put in the description box below. As mentioned, the 13 exams are split over 3 levels. Level 1 is called Applied Knowledge, and this contains Business and Technology, Management Accounting, and Financial Accounting. The second level, which is called Applied Skills, contains Corporate and Business Law, Performance Management, Taxation, Financial Reporting, Audit and Assurance, and Financial Management. And the third level, called Strategic Professional, contains 2 mandatory papers, Strategic Business Leader and Strategic Business Reporting, and then an option of 2 from 4, which are Advanced Financial Management, Advanced Performance Management, Advanced Taxation, and Advanced Audit and Assurance. Now, when it comes to choosing the optional papers in level 3, a lot of candidates go with what they enjoyed in level 2, and that's a very good strategy to go for, as you're going to be motivated to study for the exam. However, when choosing your exams, it's important to understand what you'd like to do in the future. So for example, if you want to work in audit and be able to sign off audit reports, then Advanced Audit and Assurance is a mandatory paper for you. Or if you want to work in banking, then I'd highly recommend you study the Advanced Financial Management paper, as this contains a lot of banking products in a lot of detail. So choosing your optional papers isn't necessarily a straightforward choice. If you want me to make a further video on these 4 exams and what I recommend and what you would come across when you study them, then feel free to put it in the comments below. All exams at the ACCA are now computer-based, with the first 4 being all multiple choice questions. The remaining exams can be taken at 4 intervals during the year: March, June, September, and December, with the remaining level 2 papers being half multiple choice and half case study questions, and level 3 papers being all case study questions. Each exam session allows you to sit a maximum of 4 exams. However, you need to pass all of the exams in one level before you carry on to the next level. So for example, you can't sit Advanced Taxation and Taxation, as taxation is part of level 2 and Advanced Taxation is part of level 3. It's interesting to see that the UK government recognises the first 9 papers as equivalent to a bachelor's degree, and the remaining 4 exams equivalent to the master's level. And this is reflected in the required and recommended studying time by the ACCA for each paper. When it comes to costs for the ACCA, there are some considerable costs that you have to be aware of before you begin the journey. Number 1 is at the initial registration stage, you'll have to make a registration fee, which is around £100. The second cost to be aware of is an annual membership charge, which you'll have to pay for the remainder of the time you're a member of the ACCA, which again is around £100 to £120. And thirdly, the last cost directly attributed to being a member of the ACCA is the exam costs. Now, the exam costs vary year on year, so I can't give an exact figure that's going to remain constant forever. However, level 1 papers are around £80 to £100, level 2 papers are around £100 to £130, whereas level 3 papers can be around £150. These costs do vary whether you enter your exam early, standard, or late, with the late fees being almost double your early fees. It should be noted that if you have any exemptions, then you do have to pay for the equivalent standard entry fee for that exemption. So for instance, if you gained exemptions from the first 3 papers, you'd have to pay the standard entry fee for those first 3 papers to get that exemption. In terms of costs to help you study for the exam, ACCA has a list of tuition providers that it recommends. 2 of the biggest of these tuition providers are the BPP and Kaplan. Each company has its own costs in terms of tuition, but you can expect to pay around £600 for a 4-day tuition course and around £150 to £200 for a 2-day question exam session. Workbooks by all providers are roughly the same. You can expect to pay around £40 for each exam's revision textbook and around £25 for a question and answer textbook. You can see that over the course of the qualification, the costs will add up. Even if you only do self-study and have no exam retakes, the amount you'll have to contribute will comfortably be over £2,500. A lot of companies have budgets for advanced learning, as they can see the immense benefits an employee with a professional qualification can bring to their organization. So it's definitely a good idea to ask your current employer or at the interview stage of what their policy is. Whether they can fund the full qualification, give you study or exam days as part of your holiday allowance, or even provide a part contribution to the costs of exams or tuition. This is all extremely useful, and so I'd make sure everyone looks into employers' policies for funding. Now, exams are only one side of the equation when it comes to becoming an ACCA member. The ACCA requires that candidates also complete 36 months of relevant work experience. This work experience can be in any finance role directly or indirectly related to accountancy. So you could have accounting, bookkeeping, tax, or even consulting, to name a few. In addition to this, the work experience that you get doesn't necessarily have to be attributed to your main job. You can gain this experience from shadowing someone, from volunteering, or a project. However, all of your work experience has to be signed off by a supervisor, which can be any qualified accountant. When it comes to the timing of your work experience, this can be done before you begin your exams, during your exams, or after you've completed all your exams. However, when it comes to your work experience and reflecting on what you've done, the ACCA requires you to answer several questions that they have in terms of what you did, what you learnt, and what you thought about it in terms of how you do it again. These questions can be found on the ACCA website in their Work Experience Practical Guide. Being part of the ACCA puts you into 3 designations. If you're someone who's just registered as a student and is completing the exams, then you're known as an ACCA student. If you're someone who's completed the exams and is still having to do the work experience, then you're known as an ACCA affiliate. And if you're someone who's completed the work experience and the exams, you become an ACCA member, and it's only once you become an ACCA member that you're allowed to call yourself as Chartered Certified Accountant and have the ACCA letters after your name. Now, before we begin to look at what the ACCA can give you, it has to be said that the ACCA is not your golden ticket for having a high-paying salary, just as much as having a degree is not your guarantee of having a job. But with that being said, the ACCA is a well-respected qualification, and employers recognize the effort and dedication required to become an ACCA member, and this is reflected in the skills and opportunities that having an ACCA qualification can give you. Because of the work experience and the skills that you learn on your ACCA journey, employers know that your skills are very transferable to a lot of roles. It's possible to leverage your skills and knowledge into M&A, consulting, as well as accounting if that's the career for you. Someone working towards their ACCA qualification should expect to start on a salary between 20 and 30k. Now, this may seem very low, but remember, there's a lot of people sitting the exams as well as passing at this level. Now, as you progress through the qualification, you can expect your salary to increase. Now, a newly qualified ACCA should be aiming for a salary around 40k. And this significantly jumps up the more experience you can have. After 2 years, ACCA members should be expecting to earning around 50k. In terms of skills demanded by employees, a recent survey showed that audit, data analysis, and general accounting skills are the 3 most in-demand skills. Once you gain enough experience, you can expect your salary to jump up considerably. Having 3 years of experience and working as an internal auditor, you can see your salary jump up to around 60k. Having an ACCA qualification is a great base for being an accountant, as well as a wide variety of qualifications. This can range from internal audit, fund accounting, financial control, risk management, IT audit, and forensic accounting. And that's the ACCA qualification. So after watching this video, hopefully you'll know if the ACCA is something that you want to invest your time in, your money in, and gives you the right exit opportunities that you want for your career. If you like this video and learned something new, then please give a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.